So in today's video, we are doing the first reacts video to your videos, which we've never done before. So we issued the Filmmaker Challenge of creating a video filmed on your cell phone and featuring toilet paper. So we're seeing your films right now for the very first time. I'm not lying about this, right guys?
No, yeah, I'm so excited about it.
Beyond excited about it. So we have not seen your films, we just downloaded them, and this is our first reactions. And also we'll have the links to all these people's films down below in the video description. So if you want to check out their channels or social medias, we'll have all that information down below, and they'll have their names pop up as well throughout the film. So stay tuned. Here we are without any further ado.
Ladies and gentlemen, we present the toilet paper portal. With two of them, you can teleport. Use the one, stick something in, and pop out of the other.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I think that this was super creative.
I thought it was too. I would have never thought about teleporting through toilet paper. The only closest thing is Zane's
Looking through the dimension.
Yeah, Zane's had the looking through the portal. This was a whole nother take on it though, where you're like physically going through the toilet paper roll. Mind blown, would have never thought of that. So that was spot on. Any other thoughts you guys have on this?
Did he punch himself at the last?
Yes, he punches someone.
He punched, yeah, I thought he punched someone else, but maybe it was himself. So that was a little bit harder to tell. But I think a lot of your shots were great. I love the humor in it. As far as like feedback, because the big point with this, guys, is we wanted to make it educational. And any thoughts that we had that we think we can help you guys ourselves become better filmmakers, we want to learn through that process together. But this is such a little simple thing, guys. But that black frame, every so often, like when you're editing, you'll have a black frame that on accident you didn't delete. Like we make that mistake too. So just be aware of that, because that threw me off guard when I was watching it for the first time.
I love the creativeness of this idea. My feedback would be, when you're gonna do an effect like that, make sure it's framed so it's a little bit easier to see for the audience, instead of us like, because right now both of those shots are on the edge of the frame, and so maybe pull out the shot a little wider for the hand to come through. And same with when you're putting the hand into the toilet paper. I feel like don't be afraid to actually have the person in the frame so we can actually see the hand going in and disappearing, because both of those happen on the edge of frame. So just scooch that camera over just a little bit more, and so it's a little bit easier to see. But super creative. I loved it.
This is a huge learning process for all of us, because we hadn't really had much experience filming with cell phones. So for us, like, it's been a really fun process seeing how much more we can learn and become better storytellers, filmmakers with whatever tools that we have. But this definitely told the story.
And that was by Albert. So good job, Albert.
Here's the world premiere of Daniel's film in 3, 2, 1.
It was funny because it was interesting. It kept me wanting to know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think that was a good job with that. Like it kept me engaged as far as like, hey, where is this going? Where is it taking me?
You always want to have a really good payoff at the very end. And for me, it's like, where's this building up to? And then you throw in that second roll of toilet paper, like, oh, he just went through 2 rolls doing his business. And then the end was like the final payoff where you saw like 20 rolls. I love when you have strong payoffs, and for that, to me, the film kept on building to one thing, kept on escalating to the next thing, to the next thing. So well done with that.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I don't know if I got. Is he saving the rolls?
Well, it almost seemed like someone else came in and grabbed it. Went through
Is
the
that
trash.
what it was?
Yeah, so someone else comes into the, because look, it's not the same person.
So
So someone throws it away, and then someone else comes through it, grabs the roll, and it's collecting them.
But
I wasn't clear on that then. Were you clear on that?
no, I had no idea. I thought he was digging through his own trash.
Okay, because I actually thought it was the same person too. So if I were to give any suggestion, because me and Bubba, we were a little confused on if it was the same person or a different person. One thing that I think would help that, if you had a boy and a girl, so it's very clear two different people, or you have like a really young person and a really old person or a middle-aged person, that would also help break that up. Or someone that's very different in colors, where you have someone purely in blue, someone purely in red. So there's no question that it's a completely different person. But for me, I thought it was the same person.
Yeah, and also the shots. I really like the shots too. They weren't really technical or anything, but they were great. I mean, they were great for telling the story.
I love locked off shots where a lot of time passes by. And like during this whole sequence right here, once he puts that roll in the toilet paper, like we sit on that, like there's multiple cuts, but so much of the story is told here, where he does his entire business on the toilet, keeps on going and going, static shot where you're not having to show anything else. Like there's so much storytelling in this shot right here, which I love whenever you can communicate a lot of details through one shot, and that's what that shot did.
Yeah, I really liked
Yeah, and that's something else too. It makes you do is you'll find when you're filmmaking that sometimes after you film it and you watch it, it takes on a new meaning. When you isolate something, it makes you think about it differently for some reason. Like making something is the biggest step forward, because we can think about something over and over and over again. You want to be better, but until you start making something, you'll never get better.
Yeah, so I mean, even as we're becoming better storytellers. Even if we're using a cell phone, like whatever medium you have, and that's why our first challenge to you guys was a cell phone, because we wanted to be something that most people, or a lot of people, had access to. So this next film is by Elizabeth, and here is the world premiere. Drama is real. Yeah, the slide is crucial, guys. Is it magic toilet paper? Is it magic?
It is magic. I'm a huge fan of magic.
Yes. That was great.
You passed the test.
I love the sliding. Like it reminded me of like an old John Hughes movie type of Breakfast Club type of thing.
That
I
slide
thought
is-
all the shots were very interesting,
Yeah.
very fun. It took it took you for a ride, and I really enjoyed it. It kept you in the whole time.
Very creative. I thought it was great. You always think that, I mean, in this time frame right now, emergency toilet paper is a thing, especially here in America. But for her to use it in a different way, I really love that, because you're like, it's the emergency toilet paper. What is she, that you're gonna need that. So I thought it was fantastic.
I think the more you could have us as an audience ask ourselves questions like, okay, she's going to get toilet paper, she needs it for whatever reason, but it's like, well, why does she need the toilet paper? So I just love that idea of the mystery, and then giving us little teases, and then the end, like the payoff, I think was perfect, because at first, like, what is this? Where is this leading to?
Her smile at the end too is just like so. Yeah, it sold me for sure.
Whenever you can establish the character by just little quirks, in this case, seeing the woman sliding multiple times just kind of established her as a character, because we weren't communicating anything with dialogue, but just seeing that helped establish who she was as a person. And then for me, it made it relatable, because I've done stuff like that before as well. So it had this fun, playful vibe where it could be something very serious, or it can be something very playful and fun. And that's for me like what it accomplished.
I mean, pure cinema is no talking, no dialogue, right? So you're expressing emotions, you're keeping us engaged as far as the story goes purely by what we're watching. So another thing that Elizabeth did really good is that she condensed the time really well with the edit. So it didn't feel like it was too long watching this woman run up the stairs and everything. So she did a lot of quick shots, like showing the foot hit the stairs and stuff like that. Really condensed the time of us like watching her go on this journey of going from one level to her house to the top level. Something as well, I think it worked here because it's such a short film, is when you're establishing a world, you need to make sure that the audience isn't totally, completely shocked by the ending, meaning like we need to establish that this world is magical. And if this was a longer film and we never saw any magic until the very end or any hint of it, then the audience kind of gets upset about it. It's almost like, hey, that came out of left field, that didn't work with what I think. But if you could set up that maybe there's a little magic at the beginning with some other shots, or hint to it that there's something magical going on, then it just makes the story that much stronger.
So my last note of feedback that I noticed is whenever you're framing a shot, be aware of everything that's in there and does it add to the story. So this shot right here, it actually threw me for a loop. Something's gonna happen with this bug spray. So, because the shot's there, it's the only thing we see in the room minus our fearless actress. So I'm like, hey, what's gonna happen with the bug spray? So you're gonna grab the bug spray and she runs out. And I believe when she runs back out of the room, it's the same exact shot with the bug spray still there. So then I thought she was gonna run out of the room and then come back and grab the bug spray, but that never happened.
And I think the only reason you think that is because it's the only thing there. If it was like other stuff, like kind of making it kind of look like a cluttered room or like stuff, then I feel like
this here is fine because you're not wondering where the toaster is. But if the toaster was the only thing in a whole kitchen, you're going to question that. So just be aware of everything you have prop-wise that you're putting in your house, in your room. We want to help you with this feedback. We want this to be beneficial to the people that didn't even make these films. So you're like learning from all of our mistakes, learning from our glory moments. But keep in mind, like, we want to help add. So if anything we're giving you guys feedback-wise, if it's not making sense, you have any other questions with your films that you created, leave it in the comments and we will respond and do our best to help answer those and clarify.
Yeah, and even if it wasn't your film that we're critiquing, you guys just have questions just in general about what we're saying, or it didn't quite make sense to you, yeah, put it in the comments and then we'll respond to it and help clarify it.
We're all a team together, guys. Don't forget that. Okay, so our next film is from Garrett, and here is the world premiere.
Oh no! I'm out of toilet paper! What should I do now?
Hello, what can I help you with?
Let's go!
All right.
And the Avengers just delivering toilet paper, it's amazing.
My mind is blown. Uh-oh. Close your eyes, kids.
What? Whoa! Hi, Captain America. Hi, hey, Spider-Man. Could I get some privacy? Thanks.
That's fun.
That was great. Oh, that was wonderful, guys. That was splendid. So I'm gonna guess here. I'm guessing that this wasn't a scripted moment, but I bet you this happened organically. Like, let me know, because I'm very curious, because this feels like a real, very raw moment.
And you just went with it.
That just happened, and then you rolled with it. You improvised, which I think is great, because I'm like, wasn't expecting that, but it added to the humor of it all. Just whenever moments play off on camera that weren't expected, like, don't be afraid to keep the camera rolling.
And even in some films, you'll hear that sometimes the accidents turn out to be some of the favorite moments of audiences or even the filmmakers themselves. Like, that wasn't supposed to happen, but we're so glad it did, Because that's actually my favorite moment of this film is that when Spider-Man shuts the door and he's still in there,
It's like, very memorable and very not expected. And like, that will be with me for the rest of my life, or at least for the next week. So it's just creating those memorable moments, iconic moments, like Spider-Man stuck in the bathroom when you're trying to do your business. Like that, people aren't going to forget that. They might want to try, but they're not going to forget it. Any other thoughts, Bubs?
No, I thought it was great. I like the context of where you're at the beginning, like quarantine. I think everyone can relate to that. And relating to running out of toilet paper, using his kids, and I think it was great.
He wasn't using his kids. Oh, he was using his kids. I thought they were the superheroes, guys. I was taken in the story.
Whoa.
The little VFX shot of the reverse.
I love the establishing, these are the superheroes that are going to save you. And doing their tricks and stuff. Did you notice that there was he reversed one of the clips?
Yeah, the
shield. I really love that. Yeah, I thought
it
was
worked
great.
completely.
It did. It totally worked.
What I like too is, this is what I love about creating and just like taking away excuses, is you're also getting an activity with your kids here, and you're teaching them to be creative and that you can do fun things, like this, because it's such an outlet, guys. It's just a great thing. I just love everything.
Well, and they're gonna remember this experience, and now they have this film to capture that moment in time that you probably wouldn't have had, So it's all about creating moments when you can. Like, you may not be the most best professional filmmaker, but take advantage of the people around you that you love, because sometimes those are the best films to have. Like, one of our film challenges we did a couple weeks ago was I made a film with my son, and that's one of my favorite films that I've done because it was me connecting with my son, and now I have that for the rest of my life that we can always look back on. So it's just taking advantage of what you have. Now, as far as feedback, what kind of feedback do you guys have?
Well, another thing I like that he did here was that right at the very beginning, when he realizes the toilet paper's out, we cut to the action, and then he does a reaction. Whoa! And then he even has a sound effect there. Whoa! You know what I mean? Like to really emphasize to the audience and help us feel what that character is feeling, which I thought was awesome. Feedback-wise, I feel like there was a couple of these shots that I feel like you didn't need to. You could have condensed a little bit tighter. Like we weren't learning anything from it of watching these guys run and then run again and then run again to a car.
It could just be them jumping right into the car.
It could be that first cut and then you go directly to the car shot and going inside of it.
I'm just really happy that he created something with his kids, and even though this could just be a hobby, I think it was great. I mean, I think it was a good time.
Super well done, and it's inspiring for me to I want to create more films with my son.
Totally.
That I have those kind of memories. So just go out there, guys, create, make stuff happen. So this next film is from Gary. Here is the world premiere. Once again, this is our first time experiencing this with you guys. So here we go.
Hey, Lord, you want to play hide and seek?
Pulls the shorts up. Classic.
It's a fun little POV shot.
Yeah, it's great POV.
Instead of tissues, uses money. That's awesome.
The ending actually was the best part, guys, because it was super unique, super original. That was my favorite part, and I love the POV from the toilet paper, seeing the toilet paper at the bottom of the frame. Very well done.
These are just so adorable. They're so fun.
Well, it's just so creative.
I know.
Like that's what's it's just a lot of fun, and again, using his kids, you know what I mean? That's just so awesome.
Totally.
Just being creative with your kids, having fun with it.
I thought it was a great shot.
Yeah. I think the angles
He's like
are...
this.
It's always hard establishing things that are larger than life, but because you established it at the very beginning, as far as the toilet paper had like a human soul or a toilet paper soul, right? Like it made it so it was believable for this type of story. So it's just whenever you can establish the type of world, if it's a magical world, if it's not a magical world, just establish that in the beginning whenever you can get away with that. And this one, it did that at the very beginning, which worked out really well.
Yeah.
These are fantastic films. We just want to help elevate it to the next. So the next time we give you guys a challenge, we're like, okay, we learned that from this experience. I'm going to make my films a lot better. But like you guys, what you guys are creating, I would be very proud of it, very stoked on it, very excited about it. We've been doing this our whole lives, a lot of us. So it's just a matter of just like, we're stoked on what you guys are creating. Like be very proud of it. One of the thoughts I had is it's called jump cutting in the film world, where it's like a similar shot and then you jump cut. So here, for example, we have a shot here, and then we jump cut to this shot, which is a very similar shot. We have several of these in this film where it jump cuts. Sometimes you can get away with it. What I think would have helped, instead of the jump cuts, is like, okay, you don't have anything to cut with. Cut to the kids hiding, a little bit afraid, and then cut back to these shots, and then it won't feel like a jump cut. So it's just, that probably could have been fixed just within the editing. Otherwise, it just makes it a jump cut. Sometimes it works for films. For me, though, it took me a little bit out just seeing it cut into very similar shots back to back to back. So cutting to the kids, though, I think would have heightened the suspense. And just adorable kids. Like, you can't go wrong with that.
I thought this ending was fun.
Yeah, ending was great. Once again, it's all about surprises at the end. It's all about that payoff at the end. It's something we struggle with. It's like, okay, what we'll have this really great film, but like there needs to be some payoff at the end that makes people smile or a little bit more afraid or uneasiness. So it's always trying to figure out like what's the payoff and why they're watching this film, like where's it going? This next film is from Max. So here is the world premiere.
Hello? Oh yeah, toilet paper? Got it. please get your finest roll of toilet paper, good sir? Yeah, I'll get that for you right now. Thank you.
Don't do it.
Hello? Dude, I could not get the toilet paper.
Toilet paper? Dude, ugh, I said term paper.
Tragedy strikes once again, guys. Once again. So, how was it?
Man, I was thoroughly entertained throughout the whole thing. I thought the camera angles were super fun. I thought look at that, like the transitions, the cuts are super smooth. It's very interesting angles. I love the use of this. I mean, that's
this
Hitchcock did that in Rope, guys. You know what I mean? Like this is, and you guys are utilizing that same idea that Alfred Hitchcock used. You know, so
yeah, this is, I mean, it's essentially a match cut / making it look like there wasn't a cut at all, which is like great storytelling. It plays off really well, especially if you're trying to do a long take. Like that's how they do it on a lot of movies. They'll make it look like it's a full long take, but a lot of times there's a lot of hidden takes by getting close up on the action.
Which they did in 1917 too.
I want to know where he filmed this at, because it seems like he's completely alone.
Yeah,
Where's this at?
I don't know where this
Well,
is.
the Galleria, this has to be like a mall area, like an outside mall.
But it's empty.
Yeah, but I just like, yeah. I mean, I thought it was creative. I think it was great.
Yeah, and I love, so there's something too that when your main character goes through a lot more, then you actually will connect with them more, and there needs to be an event, something that happens right to them, which, man, I said raising the stakes, right? That's like a film term you put into like, okay, well, how can you raise the stakes? How can we elevate this even more so that we care about more, so it holds our attention even more? And I thought it was so fun. All of a sudden, this toilet paper has a mind of its own and takes off. Super fun. And then the ending, that when I said term paper.
It's all about that payoff, guys. Once
Like-
again, it's all about that payoff, and you executed that perfectly.
As far as the setup and payoffs, like we talked about last time, so if it could have been maybe that we heard her a little bit of saying toilet paper or term paper, but it was kind of muffled or something like that. So and he goes, oh, toilet paper, and he just kind of heard his own thing. That last ending then would have been a better setup to pay off. So like maybe it's like, here, yeah, can we give me some more toilet paper? And so he interprets, toilet paper instead of term paper. Yeah.
Well
Really
done. I do have one little note for you guys, though. A lot of beginner filmmakers especially make this mistake, is they love to use cross dissolves. We've all made that mistake. And throughout this whole film, I just felt like it was constantly cross dissolve, cross dissolve, cross dissolve. You don't have to do that. Always have generally a dissolve at the beginning and at the end, but don't feel like all your cuts need to have a lot of cross dissolves. It wasn't throughout the whole thing, but throughout a lot of different parts of it, I was seeing that cross dissolve, and it was throwing me a little bit out of that. So just keep that in mind, that you're a great storyteller, but you don't have to have that cross dissolve every other time. So keep that in mind. You guys are so far ahead of filmmakers that people just saying, I want to make movies, that don't ever make anything. Like, you guys are getting out and making something happen. Like, learn from this, because every film you do is only going to get better. So just, I love this process. Like, if we were to go back on our old films, like, oh my goodness, like completely embarrassed. But those were all stepping stones to get us to where we're at now. So it's just constantly learning and making the best we can. This next film is from Michael. So here is the premiere of that film. We're seeing it for the first time. Great use of slow motion. You got a strike.
And on his thing, he does say he uses 3 different phones. So that's kind of really. I love that shot.
You did it, it, Michael. You passed the test. How was it?
Yeah, I thought it was super fun. It's different from the rest of the other videos that we saw. It was like a totally different type of video that totally works with what you're going for. So you're basically saying, look at all these creative things that you can do while you're in isolation with toilet paper. And I love the use of the slow motion.
People usually struggle with slow motion because they're like, just shoot everything in slow motion. Like, I feel all the shots that you captured in slow motion were shots worth filming in slow motion. So great job with choosing like what we're going to be in real time and what ones we're going to be in slow motion, what ones were going to be time lapses essentially, right? With all that toilet paper stacking up. Like, I feel when you chose to show certain things, like it was right on par with what it should be. Yeah, so right here you have what's called essentially like a match cut, where it's like very clearly two different places, but you're having them cut together. So juxtaposition wise, it's telling a complete story where you have the toilet paper getting hit like a baseball, and then all of a sudden you see it outside as if that is going into scoring a basket. So as far as the sight and like the cut itself, like that was great storytelling. My favorite shot in the film though is seeing all that toilet paper right here going. Like that was the most memorable. It's like, what shot in your film is memorable? Like to me, this is the one that I will go back on with your film. So
those are all the ways that I don't think I would have thought about. I just think about toilet paper just doing my business, you know.
Yeah, I like the kind of stop motion of the papers, like kind of stacking.
Yeah, it was cool.
But when you say it's fair now, Bubba, that now you're going to use toilet paper differently?
Oh, totally. I'm totally going to make an entryway at my door out of the toilet paper.
Would you say totally or toilety?
In regards to my feedback, the one thing I noticed is, and this is me personally, is I love switching up the locations as much as you can because visually it keeps things unique. You have a lot of the same backgrounds with that black sheet essentially hanging down. I'm sure you had access to your whole house, so just utilizing your space and showing as many different backgrounds as possible with this type of storytelling I think works really well. So just keep that in mind. The more you can switch up the backgrounds, the more interesting it keeps things.
Yeah, and then the last piece of feedback that I think is when you're shooting, keep it the same aspect ratio because you go from the wide to the vertical. And so, yeah, I would just like with your slow-mo shots and other things like that, just turn the phone sideways again and you can make them all look the same.
You're just a natural 16:9 instead of 9:16, which is completely vertical. Yeah, just keep it. Like,
and that's always based too, like on your platform. Like if you're making it for Instagram, usually you're doing the vertical. If you're doing it for YouTube, usually it's 16:9. So just keeping that in mind. Once you know that, keep it the whole way through. But awesome job.
Great video. It was fun.
You passed the test. This next film is Premiere, and this is his premiere, which we're excited to watch. The action. The suspense. I'm getting a little scared. Lock your doors. Definitely lock your door.
Oh, I thought his hands were right in the other shots. I couldn't quite tell, but now I do see it.
Yeah.
This is like Mission Impossible.
You together?
Reveal. What did he do to get that toilet paper?
Oh, maybe that was dark.
Boom!
Yeah.
Man, we just all got slapped with that ending. That was great.
I loved how she was just The suspense was kind of like when he was kind of hobbling out of the car. You're like, okay, you know, guy had a tough day at work, but no, it completely changed. And his wife came in.
What is it that he picks up right here?
His keys. It was keys.
Yeah,
was it just he dropped his keys?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he like dropped like.
But it's
okay.
But you're
and that was your way of showing that the hands were red. But because
red,
it was low light, it was a little bit harder for us to tell.
I thought that was the case, but I just couldn't tell. But
what would you do for toilet paper? That is the total. Like that's the title. Like what would you do for toilet paper?
What would you do?
I think at this point, in our country, maybe this is the type of thing that people would go.
Hopefully not, though, guys.
I love the look out the window too. It's like just that little setup. Like, what is he expecting someone to follow him?
Yeah.
You know?
As far as like dramatic, like you had me the whole way through.
Yeah.
Like the music was spot on for this kind of film.
Man.
Yeah. I loved how he
like
looked
reveals.
I loved how he looked in the mirror, like he's looking at himself and he's like, what?
Yeah.
What did I just do? His conviction of what he did for his wife or his girlfriend to get the toilet paper. That was like pretty suspenseful.
Like,
and she's like expecting it too, so he's like, yes.
doesn't even answer. He doesn't even answer. It's just like, man, I don't
doesn't
even
need to.
Yeah, he doesn't need to. Yeah.
And I was like, he's gonna pull out a gun or something. But he pulls out a roll of toilet paper, and then my mind was blown once again. It's great storytelling, great filmmaking.
Man, that was that I loved. I loved that, guys. Like, I really, even though it was like kind of dark and more on the dark side than the last videos that we saw. Like, this was a good one.
And it was 1 minute of storytelling, guys. You told a story in 1 minute. All you guys have been telling stories in 1 minute. So it's like you can communicate so much in that time frame, whether it's happiness, which we've seen a lot of those videos, suspenseful. It's awesome seeing that you guys all have a very similar tool, but you're all telling completely different stories because you're going out there and creating.
As far as like critiques go, I can see you ran into the same problem that I did with my toilet paper challenge, was just the audio. Because she's a little bit hard to understand.
Low light.
Cell phone, yeah, the low light. I mean, the cell phone struggle in low light. But
that's just from the cell phone. And
yeah, I mean, that's just the challenge itself.
I thought all the angles were great.
The condensing of time with the edits was great.
Yeah. My critique is yeah, just make sure you're matching this, like, we noticed that there's a speed ramp in the beginning, and so make sure it matches through the whole sequence of the film. Like when the car's pulling in, I think when you're walking up to the door, you kind of speed ramp that. Just make sure it's consistent throughout the film. That there's no point in doing that. But yeah, we all thought it was great. Good job.
For this next film, it is from Patrick, and here it is in person. You guys are seeing it here first. The music sets it up very nice already.
Alex, lunch.
I can't find corduroy anywhere. You know how much he means to me. I've checked everywhere. No, Dad gave that to me as a gift.
Alex, can you pick up the toilet paper I dropped?
Sure.
Thanks.
Mom, I found corduroy.
Are you guys ready to have your mind blown? That was made by a 12-year-old. Now, we normally don't bring up age because age is an irrelevant thing, but we just love the fact that we're getting age groups from out the whole spectrum. Even 12-year-olds taking this challenge and making it happen and learning through that process.
Patrick, you're a great storyteller. I was like, what does toilet paper have to do? I mean, the toilet paper, it should be about toilet paper, but man, when you brought that hook in, that was fantastic. Almost brought me to tears.
Did it really?
Yeah, I mean, I really did. It really did. It's just like what.
Yeah, I had an emotional reaction to it too.
When the mom was like, "Hey, will you pick up that toilet paper?" Like, that's when I was like, I knew what was expected because he was like, "Yeah, he found the toy." I thought it was great. Your writing and storytelling, man, it's just gonna get better and better. I think that was great. Good job.
Oh, it's from its point of view right here.
Yeah.
Because I was actually wondering on this shot, I was like, why is this shot the way it is? And it's because it's from the POV of a stuffed animal, which is brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I'd say with that, though, to help sell that even more, is cut up a close-up. Like, you have the stuffed animal here, but just cut to a little bit closer up of its face, and then this shot, I think, will be that much stronger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, I mean, for me, too, like, you have that nostalgia. Like, I instantly think of, like, movies that I love, like Toy Story, like The Lost Toy, right? So you instantly have that, and then I instantly start thinking of all the toys throughout my childhood. So with filmmaking, it's all about connecting with audiences. So you're hitting so many emotions, so many levels, Patrick, as far as things that we can relate to as an audience. And like Bubba said, I'm like, how is he going to connect this with toilet paper? And you did it. You made it happen.
And the music choice was brilliant.
Yeah,
right on.
It sets you up.
Well,
sure.
when I saw this shot, I was like, it would be awesome if he showed a POV, and you did it, Patrick. Like, you were one step ahead of me, one step ahead,
and again,
or 2 steps.
I love this challenge because it's just with a phone. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So you don't need much to convey a story, to convey a feeling that you have, or something that like you kind of hope for. Because I feel like you make stories or you tell stories to bring people hope, or to to affect them some way emotionally. And sometimes even as a filmmaker, you tell a story because it's something that's deep down in the way you look at the world, and you look at the world hopefully. And yeah, I think you nailed it. I think it was a great job.
Next time we have a challenge, Patrick, I'm expecting you to turn something in again. You
better, Patrick.
So Patrick, as far as feedback goes, for me, I would say make sure that every movement has a clear motivation. And even if you need to redo it another take, because let's say there's that one shot you come down right here to the mouse, and you come down and then you kind of wobble at the end, either cut before that wobble happens, or just do another take and then try to be a little bit more smooth, a little bit more succinct, and then it won't take out the viewers as much as far as when they see the camera got bumped or whatnot. But fantastic job.
Fantastic. We approve, and we're inspired by your films because it's giving us inspiration. I just love that form of storytelling because we're all helping each other through this process. This next film is by Samuel, so here we go. Without any further ado.
Who is this? Hello?
Hey, someone told me you can hook me up.
I can, but it's gonna cost.
I'll pay you double.
Deal.
Meet me in the parking garage on the corner of 3rd and State in 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Same thing.
Uh-oh, guys.
No, he's gonna forget he put it on there.
No! It can't get any more intense.
Fudge.
Thanks for keeping it family friendly.
That was so funny. I love that.
All right, so already a ton of fun, a blast. I love the suspense. So many of your guys' films are suspenseful. It's okay, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? And it's it builds up to the very last 5 seconds, and all you guys are doing that so well.
Yeah, I mean, I really love too when you shot the shots with the guy calling him up. He has a beautiful golden sunset in the background, So I think honestly, that's a lot of filmmaking, is just waiting for the right time to shoot something to make it look the best that it can. And I thought it was awesome. He's beautifully backlit, and you have that awesome sunset we're looking at. I think the angles, the use of it are...
This is a fantastic angle, guys. I love these POV. Normally you can't get the cameras we shoot with, the red cameras in shots like this, but you're pulling off with a cell phone, so it's taking advantage of the tools you have. So awesome job, great storytelling, super intense. As far as feedback, criticism.
So for me, so we have this shot of the guy calling, and we go to, I love that close-up of the first time we see him. And we go a little bit wider, which is great. We see that sunset beautifully, but then we switch over to this side, and I feel like that kind of was jarring for me. So I would have just kept that same angle or go back in close to him. When you move the camera and we don't see that movement, and also the camera cuts from there to there, it's called crossing the line, and it feels a little bit jarring.
Because he's looking one way, and the next shot he's looking this way. So just keep this in mind. When you have two actors talking to each other, you have one looking this way and one actor looking this way. Even if they're not in the same room together, it makes it easier on our brains to comprehend. If I'm talking to Zane right now, if I'm looking this way talking to Zane and Zane's looking that way, it feels a little bit off. It's essentially taking that idea and just fine-tuning it.
Cap it off. I laugh at everything. I especially laughed at this one. There were a lot of comedical little eggs in there that I was laughing the whole time. I thought it was fantastic.
And it plays on that cliche. I think everyone knows, okay, yeah, you got the stuff, I got the stuff. And I love that too. I thought it was a lot of fun. And you guys looked like you had a lot of fun shooting this.
I know, that's what
I think is so important.
His reaction when he's dropping
this is such a great moment.
This is such a great shot. Yeah. I love it when you have the layers of different things happening. You have him driving a car, but you also have the toilet paper falling off the car.
And you see that he notices it, and then it's oh! Great moment. This is the... And I love the overreaction. Cutting in there. It was really good. Really fun.
Good job, guys. Good job, Sam.
This is the final film we will be premiering today. This is by Sanders. Here we go.
Blijf in uw kot. Ik meen het. Blijf in uw kot. Blijf thuis. Ik meen het. Ik meen het. Ik meen het. Al kinderen die ziek zijn en die naar school willen gaan, thuis. Smijt ze buiten als je een ziet met een snotneus. Dat is echt iets zo belangrijk. Smijt ze buiten. Ik meen het, hè. Blijf in uw kot. Snotneus.
You did it.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was very different from every other film we saw, and in a good way, because visually there's a lot of like VFX, After Effects, stuff that already blows my mind as it was going into it. And my mind can't think like that at all. As far as you're having like shots that are having to blend into the other shots and VFX going over the other shots, like visually my mind was being blown the whole time, and I was captivated throughout the entire film.
Yeah, I thought it was fun, and it was cool because as the film was going along, then I understood more and more of what was happening, and then you fully understand, and then you root for it. You know what I mean? So, which I think is great. I think a lot of books do that, a lot of movies do that, where you're like, okay, I'm going to stick with it. I don't understand what's happening. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, he has got to make sure he captures that, whatever, that frame or that floating him.
Very artistic as well. Just a lot of different thought process. I mean, the transitions as far as things you're having popping up on screen. The toilet paper, I believe, is in every shot throughout the whole thing on the bottom, with everything else that we see throughout the whole film too.
My feedback would be, and this is, I mean, with all this feedback, take it for what it is. But I feel like you could have dressed where you're going to shoot this maybe a little bit better. I think you could have played around with the way that the room looked. It would have emphasized you, and it would have helped you pop out from the rest of everything.
Because this stuff I think is great. It's just cleaning up this area a little bit better, as far as like where, because your eyes, like, is that part of the story?
Especially because the shot doesn't move. You start investigating. You just naturally do that. And so if you say, oh, there's nothing else to investigate, then I'm just only going to be focusing on the what we want to, which is you.
So my focus is in cinematography. So I'm always looking at like cinematography, what's working, what's not working. I instantly look at this frame. I can tell inside here is all tungsten lighting, and then outside it's all daylight because it's the sun. So you have two different lights coming in. So my instant thought is to match that. You just film it at nighttime once it's dark outside, or you close the blinds. Otherwise, the color temperatures, they look a little bit funky. And that's, as a cinematographer, like that's what I'm like keeping my eye on. And even though it was like more of an artistic kind of unique take on storytelling, right? I think it still had that payoff where it was building, where everything kept on going higher and higher and higher as far as heightened reality. And the last one, like, it's building up suspense, because now all of a sudden the out of body, or however you want to say it, it's cutting. He's like trying to hurry and zip up his jacket to match the frame. Like, it still has that build up and that payoff.
And I love that because everyone knows that feeling of like trying to get your jacket, especially if you're like in a hurry. And to me, that's raising the stakes again. We care about him more because more stuff is happening to him. So the harder the challenge is for the hero, the more we root for them as the audience.
So that was 10 films that you, our audience, created based on the challenge that we gave you guys. Our minds have been blown. We are better filmmakers because of what you shared with us. Now we're going to continue doing these challenges, and coming up very soon in the near future, we'll also be having prizes, which we're super excited about as well. We're getting other people on board to help give back to the community that's making it so we can continue to do what we're doing now. Big thing is we just launched on Wisio, Wisio.com. I'll have a link down below in the video description. But what this platform is if you guys have created videos and you want us to give you feedback that have nothing to do with this challenge, you guys can submit videos through that website to us, and I personally will be the one that will be giving you guys a video response to your content that you create. So I'll have a link down below in the video description if you want to know more about that. If you've created a short little teeny film and you want feedback, you can submit it through that platform, and we're really excited about it.
So guys, if you have questions or thoughts on any of the feedback that we gave, please leave it in the comments below and we will personally answer them. Man, we are so excited because it's so hard as a creator, as a filmmaker. We tend to get in our own heads and everything like that, but just getting out and making something and finishing it, like challenges like this, I feel like they force you to finish your actual project because there's a timeline, there's a deadline. And if you don't have a deadline as a creator, you'll always just be creating it, or you always will keep on putting it off. So congratulations to you guys for getting out and making something, and let's just make more challenges.
We loved it. Absolutely loved these.
I'm like super impressed, guys. Like, you guys have blown our minds. Like, we didn't really know what we were going to get from you guys, and it was just a very kind of silly challenge, like toilet paper, filming in your house or whatever, like you guys did it. You're one step further ahead than most people out there because you actually took a step to make it happen. So pat yourselves on the back, give yourself a cookie. You guys did it. So thank you guys so much for watching. So grateful for you guys. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Over and out.